And we are
we're live. Welcome back
Welcome
to episode 9
of Standing
Room
Only
episode
NY.
Oh, NY.
You said the episode already.
All right, episode 9, July 15th, 2019.
And look, everybody, Victor has his headphones this week.
I have my headphones. It honestly feels so nice to hear myself.
I know you were kind of getting a little orgasmic, thinking it's like hearing yourself.
I was just like,
it's a little weird.
It's generally nice though.
It's a little weird.
I miss the headphones,
but we did not miss those glasses. But they're here anyway.
Wow, Sheyne, leave my glasses alone. You're just mad you can't rock glasses.
I'm not mad that I look like I have eyebrows. But this week
I clearly have eyebrows.
He was gonna wear a jersey, but it went mildew because it didn't dry properly. I wasn't gonna wear a jersey because I was tired of looking like a mansion next to this skinny fuck. So now in this black outfit, I'm just gonna look like a house.
So now we look like total hipsters. We're just wearing black.
You look like a hipster. I look like
you look like a hipster with your
I look like a dad
hair.
Who's trying to be cool at the soccer field.
You're like
you got it, Aiden. You got it, Bella. You know, like the hipster names. All right, but actually, breaking news. Would you care to enlighten us with this breaking news, Mr. Victor?
I pulled this news article probably 5 minutes before the show started.
That's right.
So this was a Newsday article posted at 6:02 p.m. today, talking about Zach. Wow, my voice cracked terribly there. Zach Wheeler is
still glad you can hear it.
Yes, Sheyne.
Victor has reached puberty.
Thank you, Sheyne. As I continue with this headline, Zach Wheeler headed to the IL with right shoulder fatigue. Is this really right shoulder fatigue? Going into the series in Minneapolis, Zach Wheeler is hurt. Which the thrust.
How did you say the name of that city again?
Minneapolis.
Go on.
Minneapolis. What's wrong with the way I said it?
Minneapolis.
All right, Zach Wheeler is hurt. And the number one question is his status, if he will be traded most likely this month. So I would say he's arguably one of the best pieces that we have to give away.
He's the second best piece you have to give away, right behind Thor. We have a lot of talk
we'll
about
cover that a little bit later.
Coming up, but I think...
But yeah, the Mets put Wheeler on the IL on Monday, retroactive to Friday, with his right shoulder fatigued, which popped up over the weekend in Miami as he prepared for his first start in the second half of the season. The claims are no structural damage, a source says, but they hope Wheeler will be able to return July 23rd, and the team is off July 22nd, so that'll leave him with a maximum of 2 starts before the July 31st.
Oh, so it really does. If he can come back, that doesn't really put him too much into question.
Yeah,
but it could put the onus more on Thor.
That's true.
Loki G is pissed at us because we don't have jerseys on.
Yeah, I know. We seem kind of naked.
Yeah.
Yeah. Should we just put these jerseys on? Just take them off the wall.
Oh.
All right. Fine.
Why'd you put on your mildewy ass jersey?
Listen, it just smells a little bit. I'm not gonna wait and do the episode for an hour to have a smelly jersey.
Understandable.
All right.
Messing with you.
Okay, go drink your little
mimosa. Yeah, I'm a bougie bitch. What can I say?
All right.
Any case, so I mean, who knows what's going to happen with Zach? I mean, when it comes to Mets injuries,
we don't have the best luck with it.
I tend to think that the worst that can happen will happen, and that's pretty much what we're looking at here. But it's amazing. We got to go live with some breaking news. I feel like SNY.
I was a little oh, it's going to happen.
Like pitter patter, right?
Yeah.
It wasn't just seeing me in a black shirt.
Sure.
Okay, great.
Sure.
So more amazing news in Metsland. The good doctor, Dwight Gooden. So this actually happened not a few months ago, but it just came out. So Doc Gooden, 54 years old, was pulled over in Holmdel, New Jersey. My condolences in the first place for being there. Around 1 a.m. on June 7th. Quote, 2 small green Ziploc-style plastic baggies with suspected cocaine were found in his car. He was arrested and charged with third-degree possession of a controlled dangerous substance, as well as possession of drug paraphernalia and being under the influence. He faces 3 to 5 years, and no court date has been set. His son described it as disappointing. And it is. I mean, we love Dwight. I mean, I remember when Harvey was coming up, and he was lights out, and he was the Dark Knight of Gotham, and Doc would show up to every Harvey game just to watch him. But that was still nothing compared to the phenom that Doc was for us in the 80s. And we all know of his troubles with drugs and him missing the 1986 parade after the World Series because of that. And but time had passed, and it seemed like he had overcome a lot of this illness of addiction, and yet here we are again. He just every few years he seems to relapse, and it's
very unfortunate to hear. But our prayers are with him, and hopefully he'll be able to make a recovery.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like regardless he's going to face jail time, as he should when you're doing that. I mean, you're putting not just yourself but other people at risk. That's just the way it is. But it's sad. It's sad to see the hold that it can have on you this late in life after he's become like a motivational speaker and author and all these things and embraced back into the Mets family. And now to be faced with this, it's just sad. It's sad. It's very disappointing. And now it'd be interesting to see if the Wilpons blacklist him again, as they did for a number of years until really the Shea goodbye ceremony. He hadn't been at Shea in a good 10 years. And if not longer, probably since the Yankees picked them up. So let's see what they do with that again. My hope is that they would do the right thing and kind of just offer any assistance they could possibly give to help him out. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But our thoughts are with Doc and his family, especially his family, his children, and hopefully maybe this can be the final straw of you really beating your addiction. But it isn't. It's much easier said than done.
All right. So let's go into
a little lighter news now.
The Mets were able to win a series against Miami.
Well, our predictions were wrong. Well, your initial instincts were correct.
Yes.
Mine were incorrect. Mine were that they were going to sweep Miami. But you instinctually said two out of three, and then went with me on the sweep.
Yeah. That was just,
we got the series.
Mets fan in me. Come on.
We got the series, though, so...
against the Marlins, but a win's a win.
Well, MLB Network just had a stat that since I think it was June 9th, the Marlins, the Mets, and the Phillies all the same record of 11 and 18.
Wow.
So,
well, the Phillies did drop a lot in the standings. I think before when we had our predictions for the night for the last 28 games before the All-Star break, the Phillies were in first place at the time.
No, I think I had the Braves.
No, but I'm saying the Phillies were in first place.
Oh, they were. Yeah.
And then obviously the standings changed.
Yeah.
And now
but it's still in the wild card hunt, which we're not. We're second to last in the wild card hunt, as you told me.
But just to go into quick standings right now, if you just look at the general NL East standings, we'll have the Braves at 57 and 37, followed by the Nationals, who are 49 and 43. They made a good surge. They're 7 games back of the Braves. Then you have the Phillies, who are 48 and 45. They're starting to get close to that 500 mark. That just who knows? Maybe their season they start choking.
That'll be the second wild card, and
then they're 8.5 games back.
The Nationals. You think they'll win something in the playoffs?
No.
So the Phillies take the wild card?
Maybe it's the Bryce Harper curse. Oh no! But
maybe.
Yeah. Well, no, it depends. If the Phillies lose in the wild card,
imagine
then it is
Bryce Harper in a Phillies jersey
losing
in Washington, winning.
Ooh, that's gonna be crazy.
DC might fall fucking apart. That would be. I would almost buy tickets to watch it just to smile with my shit-eating Kool-Aid grin.
Then we have our lovely Mets sitting at 42 and 51. We are 14.5 games back of that National League East title spot, and then the Marlins are in last place, sitting at 34. And 57, 20.5 games back. And then looking at the wild card, in terms of the standings, the Mets and Marlins, they are both, respectively second to last place and in last place. However, the Mets, they're only 6 games back of that wild card, which is doable.
That's definitely doable. Absolutely.
It's doable, but you got to jump across all these other teams. Like you have the Brewers, Cardinals,
but it's
Diamondbacks, Rockies.
It's reasonably doable, but then you have the Mets front office. Brody addressed the media before the second half began on Friday, and
they got us.
And that's when they yeah, they're incredibly disappointed. They're incredibly disappointed with how the year's gone, but it's not worth giving up on yet. That Brody Fuckface said, and the best part of that was that SMY was going live on Facebook to show it, and they can only show 10 seconds, and then would cut off, and then they would show 10 seconds, and then would cut off. And the fact that I'm more social media savvy than the pros at SMY, that's a problem. But I love SMY. Put us on.
Yeah, please. SNY, hashtag standing room only. Please tweet at them. Standing room only
Standing room only SNY.
Oh.
But yeah, I mean, so it's just it's pathetic. I mean, we're nowhere near where anyone thought we were going to be, except for me, of course. We're exactly where I thought we were going to be.
Quick note on what you said about the Brody Van Wagenen interview. Brody reportedly threw a chair in frustration during the meeting with the coaching staff before the break. So we covered this topic in our last episode. Yeah. And then his response to it, I let emotions get to me. I'm not typically throwing furniture, and I'm sure our fans may have thrown a few remote controls at TVs over the course of the last season. I think the coaches understood my emotion and were ready to move forward.
First of all, if you're aware that your fans are throwing remote controls to the television, do fucking something about it. Second of all, anyone I know who throws a chair in a room where an 82-year-old man is sitting, I'm sorry. If any of your grandfather's in a room and we get into an argument, I throw a chair in a fairly small room that runs the risk of hitting dear Yoda, like, you're going to be pissed, and rightfully so, and you're going to kick me out of your fucking house. Grow up. I let my emotions get the better of me. What are you, fucking 5? You know what he got to let the better of him? That Brody Van Fuckface is always getting involved. There always seems to be some headline when it follows a Jacob, former client of his, the Grom game. Nothing on Jacob. We love him. Cy Young winner. Boy. But whenever something goes wrong with Jacob, he gets flared up and the emotions get the better of him. This is why, Fred and Jeff, you don't hire a former agent, especially when it represents your star player, to be your GM, because then shit blows up and they're not going to know what they're doing. Point in case. I digress.
And then if we...
I'm going to have Ramosa.
Yeah. You definitely do that. And then going more into this article from ESPN, and this is regarding Mickey Callaway. He said there has been uncertainty circulating around the future of Mets manager Mickey Callaway, who is now, as of this article, which was written before the Marlins series, is 117 and 135 in 2 seasons. Heading into the second half. Brody quote, I think
my company softball team almost has a better record.
Well, that's if we actually play a game. Anyways.
Win games that are forfeited.
Yeah. I think he has done a difficult job very well, Van Wagenen said. I think our results in the standings are not what we want them to be. I know it shows up every day with passion to win and a desire to work and get better, so I'm very satisfied with that.
And when you look at the definition of the blind leading the blind, that's the quote and the excerpt you're going to find.
But yeah, so let's go into the games of this past series.
On the 12th, on Friday, we lost 4-8. Jason!
Yeah, man.
He's slipping. He's slipping. He's starting. You can't give him too much time off. 5 innings pitched, 5 hits, 6 earned runs. Frazier hit a home run, the Todd father, and of course, the Grandy Man can. The Grandy Man can.
The Mets need to re-sign Curtis Granderson. Let him manage the Mets.
Well, you know what? I'd rather him manage the Mets. Yes, I wouldn't resign him as a player.
Yeah,
you know, a player manager. He can come in the late innings. Yeah. Sure, go for it. And then Saturday on the 13th, we won 4-2. Thor back with a vengeance.
I'm very happy to see that.
I almost don't want to see it because it's just upping up his trade value. 7 innings pitched, 5 hits, 2 earned runs, 9 strikeouts, 4.55 ERA. Lugo and Diaz are strong. Robinson, fucking Cano, 2-run home run.
Yeah, he's stepping up. You know, that was his first home run as a Met that had runners on base.
Well, you know what? Sometimes the sun shines on a dog's ass. Michael Conforto hit his 17th home run, another 2-run home run. For what got me that game was that Rosario failed to hustle on a pop-up to the shallow outfield. That should have been his ball. And Mickey took him out of the game after that. He didn't start on Sunday. He came in later in the game, and people speculated that maybe it was Mickey disciplining Rosario for not showing hustle, which I would be fine with. Mickey, of course, like I wouldn't call it disciplinary. It was the right game day games. It was a night. Sorry, I'm an idiot. It was a night game day game situation. There's opportunity for another player to get in there and get him going. We addressed that part of it after the game last night. He knows that he needs to be on second in that situation, and a few guys hit him right up the minute.
What do you think of that? Was it disciplinary? I mean, or do you think
knowing Callaway?
Do you think Callaway didn't want to throw Rosario under the bus?
My hope is that he didn't want to throw him under the bus. That he was protecting him as a manager should. My hope is that was one instance where he actually did his job as a manager in every way. I question it, but and even if that is him doing that, I question the selectivity with which he does that because Lord knows he's not doing it to other players. No, so I have an issue with that. What about David Wright as the manager of the Mets? Loki asked. I'll let you take that. He's your favorite player.
I mean, yeah, but I think it's too soon.
Why?
Because I think he's probably still too attached to probably playing as a starter.
Well, we were just talking about Grandy being a player manager.
Well, David Wright can't be a player manager.
No, but he knows everybody, almost everybody, if not everybody in that clubhouse. They respect him.
He knows, but I mean, if I were to argue to not have David Wright as a manager now, I think he probably would want to just focus more on being with his family. And then
he travels with the team a lot, though. He's still very much involved in things. So, I mean, it's a completely different level of involvement. Yes.
But then imagine the New York media eating him up in terms of, what if the Mets still are lackluster, our bullpen still falters? Then what happens? Is David Wright still that beloved player that we all love? No, and then
I think people already know that the majority of this is the GM we're stuck with and the owners are stuck with.
Yeah, but at the same time, to throw David Wright under this mess, I don't think it's good.
No,
I don't think it would be good to him. I mean, considering all the success that he's had with the Mets, and he is a fan favorite, so. Maybe in 5 years, I would be happy to see David Wright as your manager. As of now, I think it's a little bit too soon versus, the way, how unfortunate he had to leave the game of baseball.
Yeah, understandable.
And, I mean, I think his role now, that's totally fine. And then it could evolve in, the near future.
I agree. I mean, my dream is that Wright's the manager, Jose's the first base coach, Kadir's the bench coach, Granderson's the hitting coach, and or third base, and then maybe you get I don't know who.
Pedro Martinez is a pitching coach.
Oh my God, how beautiful would that be?
Yeah.
That's not gonna happen. But you know who you might get? Johan Santana.
Yeah, I would love that.
That would be beautiful. I mean, that's my dream. Will we ever see that? No. Why? Because it's a competent coaching staff, and the Wilpons don't want any piece of that. So I don't know, Loki. Would you want him now as your manager? Let us know. So I don't know about the Rosario thing. I'm glad that at least they were, even if it wasn't disciplinary, the press ran with that. And so that in itself will hopefully tell him
that's true.
Don't do that again. And then Sunday, the 14th, we won 6-2. Rosario came in the game. DeGrom pitched 5 innings, 6 hits, 1 earned run, 3 walks, 6 strikeouts, 3.21 ERA. Wilson, Familia, and Lugo gave up no runs. Gesellman gave up 1 run in the 9th to make it 6-2. My name is
Jeff.
My name is
Jeff.
Jeff. Hit his 8th home run on the very first pitch of the game, and Cano went back-to-back days for his 6th home run.
Very happy. Maybe Cano wakes up in the second half of the season, and we can finally,
How many Angry Orchards have you had? Because we've seen this before.
I'm halfway through.
How high were you when he first started? I mean, I just don't see it continuing. Honestly, I suspect he's back on the steroids.
You think so?
I do, and I would love that because then he gets banned for the rest of the season.
And then I think the Mets.
He gets banned for a whole season, actually. So I would love that. So he can be fucking gone. Smith can move to the 3rd hole, and we can put Adania Chavarria at second base. That's what I would love. I have a sneaking suspicion that
he hits home runs on back-to-back days.
I have a sneaking suspicion that he's back on the roids. I do.
All right.
It's a bold state. I know it is. But there's something in my gut that says that. I'm probably fully wrong, and I'm not like flat out accusing him of doing that. But something in my gut says that. But you know what? Don't hate me. Hate the person that puts it down in your mind because they did that shit in the first place. And then McNeil had a great outfield assist to get Grandy out at home. So that was it was a good weekend for the Mets, all things considered. Granted, it's against a team that you should have swept, but
whatever. It's better than getting swept by the Marlins or dropping 2 of the 3 games to them.
Loki said, going back to our question about Wright being the manager, he said, I think David Wright has enough knowledge of what's going on to not destroy his good favor with fans. Wright is a man of the people, and coaching is a minefield headache he doesn't need. So you think he would be good, but you think it's not the right idea for him is what I'm getting, Loki. And I get that.
Yeah.
Like right now, it's definitely it's walking into a minefield.
That's
absolutely.
the thing. I mean, I don't know who the Mets would replace Mickey Callaway with. I mean, Brody.
We all know it'd be Jim Riggleman. That's why he's there. He was put in there at the beginning of the year to teach him and to be his replacement when he inevitably fucked up.
I mean, Brody did say that he's gonna stay the Mets manager through the end of the season.
Yeah, and the Wilpons love him. Why? Because he's not a threat. He's not expecting anything. He's not demanding anything. He doesn't challenge them. And of course, he's going to remain the manager because that's what the Wilpons want. And it's TC Part 2, TC 2. Anyway, moving on. The Minnesota series coming up. So it's a 2-game series, right?
Well, this is a scratch start now for Wheeler. He's not gonna do that Tuesday game.
That's true. So do you think Matz moves up today?
Probably Matz moves up, and then
actually, I don't think they will because there was some question about Matz being ready out of the pen and whatnot. So I think they can put him on regular rest. So
then who would probably be Font? I'm curious.
No, Font was DFA'd, which I have later on.
I'm so happy to hear
that. Maybe Chris
Meza,
who replaced him. Maybe. Yeah, we'll see. Look on Mets.com. We'll see. Anyway, so we have what was supposed to be Wheeler on Tuesday. Versus Michael Pineda. We all remember him. And then Wednesday.
Hold on. I'm sorry to interrupt you. So I just go on to Mets.com right now.
They got Steven Matz on Tuesday and Wednesday.
So Steven Matz is pitching back-to-back games for the Mets.
You know what? Mets.com social media or team.
I think this should be a Mets meme in itself.
It should be. Can you send that to me?
Yeah, I'm going to screenshot that for you. We'll put it on the board later.
So Matz is going to go.
He's gonna go at least
the whole week, the whole series. I don't know. Matz will probably start on Tuesday versus Pineda, and then whoever else is next up will start versus Martin Perez. Matz is 5-6. Pineda 6-4. Martin Perez probably is 8-3, and I feel like it's probably fairly even. But the Twins are a good team. Twins are hot right now.
I mean,
so it's going to be a slugfest. It's going to be a slush, whatever. I don't know.
All right.
Pick me up here, brother.
We're good. We got you. And then we're going to go into the San Francisco series. And do you think we could – I mean, as of now, what are your predictions for the Minnesota? Do we split it? Do we lose these next 2 games? What's going on?
I don't know why I'm feeling hopeful. I feel like we split it. Instinct's saying split it. My head is saying – asshole, we're gonna get swept.
Honestly, we have Steven Matz on the mound for both games. So
what does that mean?
That he's gonna win both.
Both games. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's true.
That's why they're trying to bump his trade value up.
He's gonna be lights out like Manhattan on Saturday.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, but on a more serious note, I agree. I think they're just gonna split it.
Yeah. Logan said Wright would know that he would be a puppet of the top like the Wilpons do to Callaway, in my opinion. You know what? Amen to that, brother. It's a damn shame. It's a damn shame what the ownership does to this team. Let me tell you that much. So, what are your predictions for the Twin series?
Twin series is that we split. Realistically, I think. I mean, as we find out by the day who will pitch the Tuesday game, that's probably the one that we lose, and then hopefully Matz can help us pick it up. And then we go into the series with San Francisco. As of now, no probable set for that, but you'll probably definitely catch DeGrom. Yeah, you'll end up catching Vargas, DeGrom, and Thor in those days. But I would be happy to see them try to at least pull 2 of 3 from them.
I'm going to say
actually, no, they play Thursday.
Matz goes Tuesday. Jason probably goes Wednesday. And then Thor.
Well, no, they play a 4-game set.
And I'm just saying in that order, though. I'm just saying probably because we have the off day. So, it's what it is. We'll see what happens. We shall see what happens. Something my instincts say we're gonna split, like I said, and my head says I'm fucking nuts. Moving on.
Yeah, moving on.
So sign him now is the next topic. A lot of people on talk radio and in the press in general have been talking about signing both Alonso and Jeff McNeil to long-term contracts now. Get them through arbitration and cut off the first few years at least of free agency. Do you think now is the right time to do that?
Yes.
And the question also goes to you, Loki, and anyone watching. Do you feel like we should lock up Pete and McNeil now?
Absolutely. You lock up, first of all, Alonso. He's broken, or he's tied at least the rookie record with home runs before the All-Star break. And then you compare that to the names of Aaron Judge, Mark McGwire. Why not? What's the, like, I don't understand why the Mets would be hesitant on this.
Mm-hmm.
This guy, he's pretty much been the highlight of the season. And to not sign him and then arguably possibly have another team sign him, you know, in 2-3 years
4 or 5 years, yeah.
Or whatever the case is. No, you lock Alonso now. Like, at least if this is a risk that the Mets have to take, this is it. You take Alonso. Why would you rather pay another superstar? Say the Mets did make an offer out to Bryce Harper when he was a free agent. His stats aren't too crazy to be like, wow, he deserves what is he making? I
don't even know.
$130 million or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
You get Alonso now. He's your guy of the future. Hopefully, he remains a Met for his entire career, just like David Wright did.
Yes.
And then you have McNeil, who I think he's still batting .349 right now.
Yeah, he's still the best hitter in the majors right now.
Last year, in 2018, you look at his stats now. He batted .329. Like, this guy is the perfect replacement for Daniel Murphy that we've had.
Yeah, and a lot of other people.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and you look at, he doesn't hit for power necessarily, but he's going to get on base.
Yeah.
You have that 1-2 punch of McNeil and Alonso.
We have a leadoff man again.
Yeah.
We have a leadoff man. We have not had that since Reyes was Reyes a prime. We have not had that since 2011.
Cool. We'd have
8 years we've gone without having a proper leadoff man, and now we have it. I will say what's beautiful about this, and what I've been saying for years, that the Mets put too much onus on pitching. It's a mixed bag. It should be the best teams in history are teams, or modern history, I should say. You know, once free agency became a real thing, the best teams have strong pitching, strong defense, and offense. We don't have strong defense, that's for damn sure. But if people can continue to progress, then we can get there. And the perfect teams are the perfect mix of the best teams are the perfect mix of homegrown and free agency, which you look at, 2000 Mets or especially 2006 Mets.
Yeah.
And to a good extent, the 2015 Mets. And now they put so much emphasis on pitching for so long that they're drafting people like Alonso, people like McNeil. They all went on the radar. Like, who are these people? And they came up. And now the shift has focused from being pitching-centric core, which you thought it was going to be Harvey, DeGrom, Syndergaard, Wheeler, and Matz. And now one of them is gone. And most likely one is about to be gone again, if not two. We'll get to that in a little bit. And the shift, there's been a shift to position players. You've got Alonso leading the charge. You start with Conforto, fine, because he's the elder statesman there for the field, for the everyday players. Then you've got Alonso. Then you got McNeil. Smith is making a huge statement for himself.
Absolutely.
And while he's the biggest trading possibility for a position player, if you keep him around, he's valuable. And then you've got Rosario. Yes, he's been there second longest behind Conforto. You've got a core right there mixed with DeGrom. If you keep Syndergaard or if it's Matz or whoever it might be, you've got, if Amelia can figure out, which I don't think is ever going to happen, but you've got a core there, and that's who you build around. So I'm with you. If you can cut off arbitration and get that, because arbitration leaves a bad taste in players' mouths. Because basically they point out everything you do wrong. Yeah. And
well, what are you going to do wrong? I mean, look, going back to, let's say, look at the splits for McNeil's career with the Mets. Well, he's only played with the Mets, but from 2018 and 2019. So in 63 games last year with the Mets, he's had 11 doubles, 6 triples, 3 home runs, and 19 RBIs. jumped to 2019 and threw 79 games only so far. In 300 at-bats, he's had 105 hits, 24 doubles. So pretty much he's I would say about 2 times more.
Show's not over. You can't throw your paper.
Yeah, I know that fell on the floor. Anyways, he has twice the amount of doubles. His triples have fallen. He only has 1 triple, but he's hitting better now. He has 8 home runs.
We're gonna have 2 people
and he
with
drove
trophies.
in 38 RBIs. I'm telling you.
We're gonna have 2 people presented with trophies,
and we're gonna be a 4th place team.
We're gonna be a 4th place team with the Rookie of the Year and the batting champion.
Yeah,
that's what we're gonna have. How about that shit?
I know.
So Loki's chiming in. Loki is active today. We love it, brother. We want a team with a chance, if not this season and next, and we don't need the Murphy Bruce curse coming for us. That's for damn sure. Please, not Syndergaard or DeGrom. DeGrom's untouchable. They've given him the contract. He ain't going anywhere. Oh, I may need a drink. Oh no, I only have water. No. I would share with you if I could, but I can't. Sorry, Loki.
But all right, I mean, going to trade rumors now. I mean, the 2 main guys who we have is Syndergaard and Wheeler.
Yeah, and Jason has been sprinkled in there, but I mean, what are we going to get for him?
Maybe you package Jason with Wheeler.
Like that. I'd be down for that.
But in a way, it would suck to see Thor go. And you know what's a little bit crazy? I went to I think it was not Sports Authority. It was Dick's Sporting Goods.
Watch your language.
Yeah. And there were Syndergaard jerseys on sale.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they
were like 25% off or something.
Oof.
Which was a little tough to see. I was like, damn, that's a little too soon.
You know what probably happened at Dick's? Some asshole Yankee fan probably went there. Oh, dude,
let's get rid of these Syndergaard jerseys.
What's his name on the fan? Mike Friend says it. Mike Friend says this ain't it. We're gonna get Thor, And some asshole Yankee fan probably went there who works there. I was like, yo, Francesa said we're getting Thor. We're getting Syndergaard. Ha ha. Yeah, fuck the Mets. We got Syndergaard. Put his jerseys on sale.
Start putting out the Yankees in the
Put it out there. Yeah, man. But I mean, there's no name on the back because we're one team, and now he's got to cut his hair because the Yankees. Everyone's got to look like they're in the military. But yeah, we got him, bro. And that's probably where that came from. Fuck them. That's stupid. I mean, it will hurt. I mean, Thor said, "quote I love being a Met. If something were to ever change, it'd be definitely bittersweet, just because of New York City itself, the fan base." And just the guys in this clubhouse have a special place in my heart.
Yeah. How bittersweet would it be if he goes to the Yankees?
They won't make a trade. The Wilpons have never been willing to make trades with the Yankees, even if it was the right trade where it would better the farm system. Because the question is really, what are you willing to give up for who? Are you willing to give Smith for someone to replace for a bullpen arm? Are you willing to give up Thor for 2 of the top prospects for third base and second base? Are you willing to give up
or a left fielder?
Yeah, but then it's a question. That's the chess pieces that have to move around the board. What are you willing to give up for these people is really the question. But the Wilpons and half of me goes, "Oh, you're so stupid," and half of me goes, "Yeah, fuck them." Is my instinct is, yeah, fuck them. They don't want to make trades with the Bronx, and so I highly doubt, unless there's some kind of, and I can see Cashman doing this because he's way more of a skilled GM than most in the league, especially Brody Van Fuckface. Him getting a third team involved, and it's a Piazza to Miami and to New York kind of thing, where it's like, oh, Syndergaard went to Chicago White Sox, and all of a sudden, oh wow, he's a Yankee. I could see something like that happening, and Brody just be like, I could totally see that happening, but it would suck. It would suck.
I mean, this going back to the quote to the article from ESPN, it says a number of teams have inquired about Mets players, according to Van Wagenen. So, quote, he says significant volume, lots of dialogue, and an overwhelming amount of incoming calls. So this is definitely for your Syndergaard and maybe your Wheeler as well.
This is going to heat up. this is really going to heat up in the next 2 weeks.
To an extent, if they are serious, I think that's hard to define. But I think the real interest is our players, that we have to be thoughtful with what we do with that interest.
And his EA wrote that last part because he's unable to formulate a real sentence. What trades would you be willing to accept for who? What would you want back for Thor?
Well, I would want at least, like you said, 2 farm guys who we know at least in the next 2 years can step up at third base.
Wheeler,
I think you get at least 1 farm guy who can make
Wheeler
a change.
And Jason.
Yeah, but I don't think who's gonna take 2 starting pitchers unless you put maybe Jason into a bullpen with whatever that case
Lefty
is.
specialist.
True. But then if you package Jason and Wheeler, I don't think you get the exact same value as you would get just for Syndergaard.
Absolutely not.
But then, yeah, with Dom Smith, he is kind of that guy who, he grew up in our farm system. There were rumors about trading him before, when he was first playing with the Mets, we weren't too confident in him. And now he's able to prove himself. I think the Mets should honestly hold on to him.
Agreed.
Because he's going to have a role on this team.
Agreed.
Whether it's him platooning in the outfield or at first base, whatever the case is.
I'm starting to look at him like they say McNeil is what the Murphy should have been.
Yeah.
He may be what Wilmer Flores should have been. Smith.
So you hold on to Dom Smith. I would be a little upset if I see them give up Dominic Smith and then you see Dom Smith, wherever team he's on, next year hitting 25.
Despite the fact that he doesn't have a starting position.
Yes. He's playing great with the fact that he doesn't have a starting position.
What about Rosario with the way Adaney has played? And I'll admit, I was wrong about Adaney.
Yeah.
You go back to our first or second episode, I was a dick to Adaney.
Yeah. Well, that's because he was part of the replacements.
He was part of the discount shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, but now, given what he's done, would you get rid of Rosario and have Adaney there for a year or 2?
Because Adaney is temporary. That's the thing. And then if you do bring up, maybe I have to do a little bit more research on finding our AAA or at least our AA shortstops. And then if they could prove themselves, then I wouldn't mind giving up a Rosario to get more value back to strengthen our bullpen.
A Wheeler Rosario trade.
A Wheeler Rosario trade, you get a lot more value than just the Thor trade.
Wheeler Smith, which is more valuable? Wheeler Smith or Wheeler?
No, I'd rather have Dominic Smith than Zach Wheeler.
But which is more valuable?
In a trade?
Like a Wheeler Smith package or a Wheeler Rosario?
Wheeler Smith is a more valuable package. I think teams are more enticed to do that. Yeah. What's your take?
I agree with everything you just said. I have nothing more to add to it. I think I want to keep Smith. Like I said, I think he's the ultimate bench player and someone who can step in. It's hard sometimes when you have someone who, how many people who aren't true hardcore Mets fans can remember who stepped in to first base when Keith didn't play in the 80s? You can't. It's very hard to do that. If you can have someone who can step in and be a fan favorite or be a core member of a team who steps in for Pete when he needs a day off or when it's defensive replacement, and you remember him and he actually contributes on a regular basis because he's expanded himself to left field, you keep that player.
And he wants to play. That's the thing.
Yeah, and he's done everything you asked. Met fans like, oh, he's fat, he's no good, this, that, and the other thing. He lost weight. He slimmed down. He trimmed. He got bulky a little bit. He did everything. He worked his ass off. Same as McNeil, same as Alonso, same as people like David Wright. He worked his ass off to silence the haters, and you know what? I'd keep him. Is he a more valuable trade of Wheeler? Absolutely. Would I be fine getting rid of Wheeler and Rosario? Yeah.
I would be okay with that.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, though. Thor, regardless of where he goes, will hurt. It will hurt if it happens. I have a sneaking suspicion it won't happen, but I have absolutely nothing to base that on but my often wrong intuition.
So going back to the point that I made before about the Mets farm system. So there are possibilities to replace Rosario in case a trade does happen. And you look at Danny Espinosa. So he plays for the Syracuse Mets, and through 83 games and about 300 at-bats, in total, he has 17 triples, 12 homers, 50 RBIs, 34 walks, 2 intentional walks. His batting average is just shy of 250, and his on-base percentage is at 337. What do you think of that?
I don't know. We
Would you?
We gotta see. We gotta see. We gotta see.
I mean, now let's say that we pull up Ahmed Rosario stats with the Mets so far. And through the 2019 season, in 90 games, in 340 at-bats, you have Rosario. He's scored 39 runs. He's had 90 hits, 17 doubles. You look at his home run totals. He has 9 home runs, which is pretty good. I'm happy to see that from him. 42 RBIs, 10 stolen bases. He struck out 81 times, and his batting average is at a 265, and his on-base percentage is at a 303. So if we compare Danny Espinosa, obviously this is AAA to the Major League, so I mean it's like comparing apples to oranges.
Yeah.
However, with Danny Espinosa, you know that there is some potential there.
Yes. Yes. Rosario needs. I always hate this when the Mets are like, "This is the year we find out what we have with such and such." Insert every fucking player here. I feel like Rosario is that this year, and I do feel he's taking a step down. Again, I firmly believe that Cano was a huge influence on that. And without Jose here to teach him how to actually work, I think there's an issue. I think Sky could still be the limit for Rosario, but he needs to prove it. If not, get out of Dodge, go someplace else. We also have Dilson Herrera, and we also have Ruben Tejada coming back in the system, which I just want to kill myself.
Let's take a look at Dilson Herrera, and he's had a couple stints with the New York Mets coming up into the majors. So his AAA numbers read like this. He's at 74 games, 244 at-bats. He's 39 runs, 60 hits. He has 17 doubles, 18 homers, which is nice to see. That's some good power. 40 ribbies, 27 walks, and stolen bases. He's at 6.
I'm always suspicious.
Are you sold?
I'm always suspicious of players like him and Herr Ruben who
how come
spent a good amount of time in the majors and now are building, who weren't good enough to be here, but are now building themselves up and taking a few years to do it in AAA. You face down some of the greatest pitchers of the last few years in, Ruben faced down Clayton Kershaw. You have these players who are major leaguers, and now, they're tearing it up in the minor leagues, but they're also not tearing it up at a record pace. They're tearing it up at a progressive rate. And while for an up-and-coming player like, say, Pete was a year ago, or McNeil was a year ago, or Smith 2 years ago, that's great. For someone who's a former major leaguer, that leaves me with a lot of question marks. Are they just what they are? Are they actually major leaguers that can make an impact? I don't know. I'm not sold.
I mean, you mentioned the stint that he had with Dilson Herrera with the New York Mets. And this was in 2014. So he was that was about 4 years ago. So he was 21 years old.
5 years ago.
Oh, yeah, 5 years ago. And he only had 3 home runs, 11 RBIs through just 18 games with the Mets. So, I mean, that is a sample size. But he hit 220. And then you look at the following year in 2015, where he's played in 31 games. He had a total of 90 at-bats. Right, you look at that. You could say he doubled his home run total at 6 home runs, and he's had 11 RBIs. And then his average was 211, so it did dip in that span.
Yeah, maybe they brought him up too soon. Someone like Ruben, though, who had ample opportunity, and they keep mentioning him like Ruben's on his way back. Isn't that great, guys? Yeah, it's great because fuck Chase Utley, bitch. But I just want to see Rosario work, and get better.
But then, say Rosario does get traded, would you be okay with having him be replaced with possibly these 2 guys?
We'll have to see how spring training goes. In the meantime, it should be Adani.
Okay.
All right, moving on. So we mentioned it last week. Oh, well, of course, Wilmer Font has been DFA'd. We mentioned that Chris Mazza takes his place. Big whoop. It's a lateral move. All right, but moving on. Stealing first base. It has happened. Someone did steal first base for the first time. And I'm going to actually show you for the first time ever the video.
Coming all over the place, but also quite a few games where he's gone 0 for. As 0-1 pitch, which is outside. Tony Thomas is going to try to steal first. There is no throw. He's aboard. And we've seen it. Somebody has stolen first base. It is a professional baseball first, Austin.
What do you
How
think?
about them, Apple? I love it. I do love it. I gotta say that's exciting. I think that's a welcome change of the game. I'm with you 100% of the way. I like that.
Yeah, I absolutely agree.
The
with
player who did it, let's give him his due props. Tony Thomas, outfielder for the Southern Maryland Blue Crabs. It was on the second pitch of his at bat. He stole first. The pitcher got past the Lancaster Barnstormers catcher. It would have been a 1-on-1 count. It would have been a ball, and I don't know.
Sure.
I kind of love it. Let's do it. Let's do it.
I'm sold on it.
You got another potential shortstop coming up or second baseman?
No. This is what I was just looking up at all of them. This is more of a second baseman. Asmendi
Alcantara.
Wow, that is a
Alcantara. Yeah.
Alcantara. His stats look so far with the AAA Mets in 46 games, 7 homers, 27 RBIs with 17 walks. However, his batting average is better than the other two players that he's fighting for that infield position for. He's batting .293 with a .368 on base percentage.
Interesting. All right.
So I think there are replacements for Rosario in case he does get traded.
Yes.
Like you said, Echeverria is going to take that role probably in the second half of the season with whatever the case is. But I think the future at the Mets shortstop looks okay.
Yeah.
If the Mets can get value in the bullpen, then I think that is a possibility. Now it just depends how the Mets are able to sell Rosario.
If they're even looking to do it, which I just doubt. I doubt it.
You don't think he's going to be dealt. So if you had to rank in order, say 1 through 5, right? And this is right now in no particular
most
order,
likely chance.
but you have Rosario, and then you have Dom Smith. Then you're looking at Jason Vargas. 4, you're looking at Zach Wheeler, and then Thor. Who, if you had to place that 1 through 5, who goes in what order?
Wheeler goes first.
So he's number 1. So he's most likely he won't be a Met.
He's most likely gone.
Okay.
Thor second. Jason third.
Really? You think Jason Vargas goes third?
I think in a package deal, absolutely.
Okay.
Or yeah, I think so. And then Smith, and then I think Rosario is fairly safe.
4 or 5.
Yeah. What about you?
I agree with you with the Wheeler-Thor combination because I don't think the Mets are really ready to part unless they get an unbelievable offer.
Yeah.
However, I think at the moment, Dom Smith has more value than Jason Vargas, and Rosario probably has a better trade value than Jason Vargas.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Fair. All right, so moving on to what the actual fuck. So as we all know, Independence Day was a few weeks ago, and this story broke in Port St. Lucie, the High A spring training home of the New York Mets, but their High A team is there as well. They had a fireworks show, and for the second time this year, we find out some of the backfields caught fire and some of the trees. Apparently, they burned down, I believe it was 4 acres in April. And apparently they just, whatever fireworks company they're hiring, as you can see in this picture, just don't have any idea what the fuck they're doing. So, I mean, I think it's funny. Spring training is where the year starts. And I will say that the Mets have not won a World Series since they moved to Port St. Lucie. They moved there in 1987. Is it a curse? Is it hell for the Mets? Is hell burning? Is it prophetic? I don't know. I just think it's the usual typical way that the Mets are pathetic. I mean, fireworks shows at Citi Field are pretty good, but I have seen people get singed when they've done it on slightly too windy days, and they're still sitting on an upper deck on the promenade level. But it's just, dude, if you burn down something in April, figure your shit out for July. That's all I'm saying. But thankfully, no one was hurt, and it's just the coupons hiring a coupon company, I would imagine.
Yeah.
Fucking stupid.
Anyways, going into more Misery with the Mets.
Metzery, yes.
So yeah,
okay.
we'll go through our Metzery
I have no
segment.
idea what you're gonna pick.
So this is going to be the article we always refer to, the Barstool Sports article defining the list of Mets
Let me
misery.
take a drink for this.
So take a drink, and I will go a little bit throwback, and I like looking at the Bobby Valentine mustache.
I think this is just funny. I mean, Bobby V, I wasn't paying as much attention as I should have during the 2000 team around that time with Bobby V. Do I wish he was our manager now? Absolutely.
Yeah.
He knew what the fuck he was doing. He had the players behind him. I mean, while it could be a shit show because it's the Mets, it's always going to be some kind of shit show. It wasn't this kind of shit show. I mean, for those who don't know, Bobby V got tossed him a game. And when you toss him a game, you go into the clubhouse. You cannot come out. You don't make managerial decisions. Everyone fudges it. Everyone makes calls. People running back messages and whatnot. Shit happens. You get fined. Bobby took the eye black strips, right? I believe.
Yeah.
And he made a mustache out of it. And he stood in the back of the dugout with his hat on and his sunglasses on at night and his fake stash and just kind of just stood there like this. And of course, the cameras got him. This is before the days of SNY. Of course, they were just like, everyone knew it was happening. And it's just, I think it's hilarious. I mean, it's Bobby V being Bobby V. And he wasn't happy about getting tossed. He was going to protest in his own way. I think it's fucking genius with it being also the
Very
dumbest.
practical.
It's very practical. I mean, you know, make lemons from lemonade, right? Or lemonade from lemons. You know, mothers and oh wow, I'm really backwards. Invention is the mother.
All right,
Necessity
Shane,
is the mother of invention. I did it. But I think it's fucking hilarious though. I love it. What do you think about that moment?
I mean, I never watched it because I wasn't following the Mets back then, but I always
so
see
funny.
it being referred to, and I always just find it as hilarious.
It's so
I think it's just like
funny.
such a cool thing. It's just like, okay, I need to come back. I want to manage this game, and I'm sure Bobby Valentine, he was a stubborn manager.
Oh,
and
yes.
I mean, to get thrown out, you have to have some sort of passion and fire in you. So I think that's just funny. Like, and I'll take it. I'm not going to complain about it. I wish we'll probably have more managers who do that in the future. You think Mickey Callaway's too scared?
They're all. This is the manager. This is the Wilpons. They stick their hand up the puppet's ass, and then they go, "Oh no! I mean, I love working for the Will. I mean, Fred and Jeff. They've always been so supportive of me. You're never gonna get, as long as the Wilpons are here, you're never gonna get a real manager again. It's just, we all know it. Face the facts." All right, so now it's time for our favorite, everyone's favorite segment,
Mets memes.
Mets memes. So again, Victor has not seen any of these. So our first Mets meme is
The Mets are pretty much breaking our backs.
So the Mets lead in the ninth inning on their knees, reaching for the rope, trying to survive, trying to get through. And here comes the Mets bullpen giving them a body slam of sorts. That kind of looks like Bane. Yes. Is that Bane?
Oh, did you make this meme?
No, I
feel like
didn't. I did not make this meme. Members of the League of Shadows. So that's our first meme of the day. Our second meme is...
Ooh, let's see. Oh, I got cut off there. I guess this.
Well,
what
first of
does
all,
it
it's a FedEx delivery man, and the box says "Open only if Mets win." And the FedEx man says, "I guess this box will never open."
Man, yeah,
harsh.
You should have put this meme when we were going through that 7-game losing streak.
I just found it today. I know timing is everything. I know.
Oh, but that's still a good meme.
Third one, we have the return of the Michael Jordan crying face. And it says, "Here, Mets fans, you look like you could use this."
I think we could use more than one shot at this, Shane.
Huh?
No, I think we could all use more than one shot.
Oh, absolutely.
So far into the season.
Absolutely. And just another lost season. But there's always next year. Our fourth one is a couple in bed. They've back to back, and she's looking at him, leering at him. I bet he's thinking about other women, and he's just thinking, "God, please Can you help my New York Mets to win the World Series this year?
He's gonna have sleepless nights until October at this point because the Mets are
Just October?
well.
He's gonna have
just through.
sleepless nights until he's like 67.
When do you think the Mets could reasonably win another?
The next time the
World
Mets
Series?
will win the World Series will be 2053
Really?
or 54. I don't know what.
No, I have the under on that.
What do you have?
I have 29. In 10 years from now, the Mets will win.
I mean,
the
your
World
lips to
Series.
God's ears, because I don't know if I'll make the 2053, 2054. I mean, I'm damn near 40. So
within the next 10 years, I'm staying it out on camera, live on YouTube. The Mets will win a World Series in the next 10 years.
God, it's a good thing no one watches this show.
Yeah.
But all right, our final actual meme is, and everyone and their mother will appreciate this. Dumb and Dumber. Want to hear the most annoying sound in the world? And then it's Joe Buck talking. Well, New York Mets are. I mean, how do you feel about Joe Buck? You hate him as much as everybody else?
No, I just think he's kind of annoying when I see him on Fox for playoff time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He's
Yeah.
annoying. It's what everyone's talking about.
Look, I would rather listen to him 1 month of the year than say if he was in a Mets announcer and have to listen to him for about 7 months.
Oh, he makes way too much money to be the Mets announcer, my friend. But and finally, we have.
Oh, you have an extra meme?
We have a meme that was sent to me by someone on Facebook that is a Yankees fan, and this was on a Yankees fan page. And while it's an asinine thing that Yankee fans do, it is kind of funny. And I'm just going to play it right here. Oh.
Oh my thoughts.
Oh, this is.
Shut your mouth. You're not God or my father. Or my thoughts. Dude, want to step outside? You want to step
So
outside?
the Mets are yelling at the Thunder, the Trenton Thunder, and then
You shut up.
I know that someone comes out of nowhere now.
Get in the tackle, okay, come on.
I think of the Yankees beating up the Mets.
Man, you know,
I
so
just wanted bagels. I just wanted baseball.
I think that's the best way to end that video. All I wanted to do was to come here and get some bagels. I guess all I wanted to do is watch some good baseball.
Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh
It's
I mean,
funny.
it's funny.
That's absolutely hilarious. What he was going off, working customer service sucks. So when you see someone go off like that, it's so annoying. However, that guy, he has a YouTube page.
I
of
found
him
out
going
about
off-
that. Yeah. At first I felt sorry for the little bastard because I was like, I get it. You know, I know how humans are cruel. I'm not singling out women. Humans are cruel to people who don't look the pit. Like when we start taking off and we get picked up, like I know Victor's going to be the heartthrob of the show and I'm going to be behind him as the old fat fuck. I know what people are going to say. And it's like, I get it. So at first I was kind of like, okay, I feel for this guy. Something triggered him. He went off. Someone was laughing at him, and he just went off. Then I find out that he has this channel, and he does this all the time.
Yeah, he's just an asshole in general.
I think he's trying to be a practical joker, joker,
But it's
he
not
just
really
doesn't have the
working for him.
skill.
I mean, that could have probably been a hoax now that you think of it. He probably just was just like, let me go off in this bagel shop.
Probably.
However, can we go back to the video?
Yeah.
Look, I want to, nothing bad towards short people, but the fact, how big were these guys that he was talking to?
Pretty big. I mean, I'm trying to find a video now, but
You can't play the one that you put live already, or that's...
no,
you don't have to put the live video.
I X'd out of it.
Oh, you X'd out of it. I mean, whatever. We can move on. But if you watch the video, you see how big these guys are.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, why are you trying to pick a fight with someone?
He was trying to get people to go to his page.
Because, look, I'm not the biggest guy. I've worked at a gym. There's some big dudes. Sometimes you don't run your mouth because you don't want to get up and getting tackled or hurt. Or you just don't do that with anyone.
Or maybe he thought no one would do it because he is so short.
But you're barking up, you're going all little chihuahua on someone like that, and then you're causing a scene, which God knows, you could pull out a knife, a weapon, whatever the case is. Dude, of course you're going to get tackled. And those guys were big. I would not run my mouth by someone who could literally, if you look back on that video, you got obliterated.
Kind of like the Mets.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it does fit.
Yeah, that was a good meme. Thank you for
Fucking
whoever
Send
Yankees.
that in.
All right, and so I mean that's the end of our show. Basically, we just wanted to, I don't even know if we mentioned it.
Yeah,
when
we
it
didn't
happened.
mention it in our previous videos. However,
But
I mean,
Tyler's-
we pay our condolences to the family of Tyler Skaggs,
yes,
who passed away last week. He was a pitcher for the Angels. And then the Angels.
The Angels had the
when did they play
tribute
their game?
they got back. It was on Friday. There was their first game home in Anaheim after the tragedy that had happened, where he passed away. And so obviously they did, what you do in these circumstances, with Jose Fernandez. We all remember 3 years ago, everyone was wearing the Skaggs number 45 on their back, and they honored him around the mound. I'm not going to be able to show the video for this. However, his mother, Debbie Skaggs, threw out
The first pitch.
a perfect first pitch.
Yeah.
Perfect first pitch, which just everything was right about this evening. And the strength to be able to throw out the first pitch, honoring your son, and no parent should have to bury their child. And just kudos to her and their entire family and his widow. And then of course what happened was
So you had
there was a combined no-hitter.
Which was absolutely incredible.
Taylor Cole went 2 innings of perfect baseball, and then Felix Pena came in and pitched no-hit shutout ball for 7 innings for a combined no-hitter. And that's just to be able, there are moments, I love, my favorite baseball movie is Field of Dreams, because it captures that majesty, the otherworldly cosmic beauty that this game sometimes can bestow upon us. And even as Met fans, we're not completely void of those moments. But every team, it seems, has those moments, and this is one that just screams that there's the baseball god, so to speak.
Yeah.
And just to be able to do that to have a no-hitter, so if you believe, he pitched that game. If you're a believer, he pitched that game. And if you're not a believer, then he inspired them to pitch that game.
Absolutely.
And then if you look, so the day, I know the card that you put up just now on the screen, it said no-hitter was done on the 12th. However, it was done on July 13th.
Oh, wow.
And
I found the wrong
so,
image.
No, that's totally fine. However, so Tyler Skaggs, he was born July 13th, 1991. And then this no-hitter.
You're not serious.
I'm absolutely serious.
Are you sure it was the 13th? I'm pretty sure it was the 12th.
13th.
Because I'm pretty sure it was Friday's game.
No hitter.
No, it was Friday's game. It was the first game back.
No, they pitched this no hitter happened on the 13th. Yeah, Angels emotional.
Because if you go to
no-hitter, July
angels.com,
13th.
which is where I got that image from.
Oh, they
it said-
closed it on the 12th.
Maybe it started on the 12th and then you know what it is? It may be that for the East Coast, it was the 13th.
Oh, okay.
Because if it's the East Coast outlet, they're probably looking at it as the 13th. Either way.
Yeah. But
Either way, yeah. It was one of those moments that is otherworldly, and he's gone way too soon. And other stellar plays such as Matt, I can't pronounce it right, but Mathias' dive at third base. There's always those stellar plays. Mike Trout has really kind of stepped up and been the ambassador for the team, as he should be. He hit a home run, so did Upton. I know Trout was speaking about him and giving all honor to Tyler Skaggs at the All-Star game. And, while it's not Mets related, if that had been Jacob, God forbid, or David at some point, it would have been, it's just devastating. And even Urinating Tree, the YouTube channel we mentioned last week, he was saying, like, I don't know where the Angels go from here. I honestly don't know how you recover from losing a brother at this point in the season. Obviously the Marlins weren't going there with Jose, and they only really had to fill out the month, and that was hard enough for them. Now the Angels have to go through it. But so I mean that's we started the show on a down note, and we're kind of ending on a down note, but it's also a beautiful thing, and sometimes something cosmic happens out of something tragic. So we thank you again.
Yeah, thank you for joining the show.
And like, share, subscribe, hit the bell icon.
Yeah, follow us on Instagram, Standing Room Only NY, as well as our YouTube page, Standing Room Only NY as well. Anything else you want to add?
That's it. That's it. Just we'll see you next time. Thank you, everyone, Loki, and everyone who watched. And we love you. So
thank you.
Boom.